Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. It is live. You can start the session.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, hello guys. How are you guys doing? So this time we have, I think, chat on as well on YouTube. So I'm going to read this.
It is live. You can start the
Give me a second. Okay. This time we have chats on. So basically, you can maybe communicate as well, and we can make it much more interactive. So that's the idea. So let's begin. I'll just share my screen up, and then we can start. Before that, I think, does anyone has any doubt or anything like that from the previous sessions? Okay. So I hope when people will rejoin, we'll just start the doubts. But let's begin. Give me a second. Okay, can you see my screen? Just tell me. Okay, so before we begin, uh, one thing to just I want to tell you guys that in the last session I told you to download I think Anaconda, and it's like one of the biggest very hard code software. So one thing is that most of the people might face issues in downloading and working on it. So what you guys can do here is you can just search on Google something called as Google Colab Python. You just have to search this, and I'll just click on this link. Then this link will take you here. So basically, it's just similar to Jupyter. It's like has cell, has text areas, and everything. The only difference it has, it's online, properly online, and the biggest advantage is it can load a lot of things. Frankly, it is a whole cloud-based system that Google has initiated, and it's very fast, super fast. So in the industry we use these things, and we it's very helpful, frankly. So once you start using this, you realize that various heavy codes and heavy data structures, when you go for data science and AI, can be used because of this, because it is consisting of something called as GPU technology, that is graphical process, I think, unit or something, which is very effective. And this is how the structure will look. You have to just log in here and you will get the structure. One more thing is that it will automatically store it to your Google Drive. That's also very amazing. So make sure you use this. You can, because frankly, major computers doesn't support this. So it's the best idea that you should use something online, and very effective. It's totally free. That's also the best part. So like we can write a first code like this way only. We can say, let's say, print hello like this something, and we run this one. So if you have to just click on this play button sort of thing, it will load and it will give you the answer. So that's very effective. That's very neat and clean as well. And the best part is it's automatically saving itself. Every single now and then you will see a save thing here coming up, that how many seconds it got saved up and everything. So yes, you should use this if you are facing issues in Anaconda, Jupyter. Both of them are same. You can see it's automatically saving. I haven't done anything. So you should use this for sure. uh, if you face issues in Jupyter or any of these softwares which are offline, because frankly, we require very heavy configurations to use softwares like this. Anaconda is like I think 600 MBs while we download, and it will require a lot of disk space. It will require a lot of RAM space while running, but that's not feasible for every computer. So you can use this one, and that's how that's the best part. Okay, so that's for the configuration part. I want to tell you this. If we have any doubts in chat, I will answer that. So if the Jupyter and anything like this comes up, just make sure you use something online. There are ways it is, but not of all of them are free. This is free, so you can use this. So in the last session, we discussed some things, and I'll just provide an overview again what we discussed, frankly, there. So we just quickly completed everything like variables. What are variables? We completed something like what we completed like variables. We also completed, I guess, data types that are there in Python. We wrote very simple codes. Then in the data types, we have started with a major data type, that is string. String is one of the very effective data type that we have started with, and we are currently ongoing that. We used, I think, some of the methods also, and what are methods also. We discussed that in detail. So just to refresh it, I'll just take a simple code. I'll say equals to hello. That's my string. Hello like this. That's my string, and in this I'll just say a and dot. This will provide me the, you can see that's the beauty of using collab. It's automatically providing us major things or major methods you can use it. So you can use, I guess, uh, upper or something like that. We can use right now, we can use any one of these overall, but let's take some easy thing. Let's say upper, and when you do this upper, you have to just store it, I think, there, and you have to just say run, and you run this one. So okay, int a, okay, we have to make it a method. So yeah, that's major very simple methods that we used. Now let's come to something little bit advanced methods and very important method for these strings, that is, I think, known as format. So let's just begin with those. Format is the next one. So we're going to start with the format thing, and we're going to understand how to use format in string. And one of the very good method, actually, it's very dynamic method, very much used. So yes, we can use this one very effectively. Okay, so let's just imagine first of all that I have a string. I have a string like this, a, let's say, and a string. Let's say just have a new string. Let's say my first string, something like that. And here I can write like this, that hey, I am, let's say, whatever years old I am. You can write any age. I'll say I'm 70 years old or something, 70 years old. So basically, when I write this, can this age keep on changing? Yes, the answer is yes. If let's say I'm writing, I'll say 70. If somebody else is writing, he's gonna say, let's say, 40, 30. So will I have to come back to the same line and let's say change it like this way, 40, or let's say 30 or something? Is it good? The answer is no. It's not good. That you just can't change your codes overall all the times. You need your codes to be very, very dynamic. That means if a person doesn't disturb the string at all, he just changes somewhere else, which is slightly easier and slightly better to change, but not exactly here. He can change the, the spacing and all. That's not a very good idea to use. So what should we do? So then Python, actually, when they were facing this issue, they just came up with some of the very effective ideas, and they said, we can maybe change something here. Is we can make this thing, let's say, like dash. So every time this dash has to run, there will be somebody who will write the code or write the age, and this will just include the value here. So if I write I'm dash years old, so for me the answer will be 70. For someone else, the answer will be, let's say, 80, or somewhere 21, or how many marks you scored. So every answer keeps on differing. So they say you can write a dash, but dash is not exactly they want us to write. They say, can you write just these two curly brackets here, and you can name it. Let's say I name it like this, age. Okay, so this is my variable, and this is inside a placeholder. Now I will write a code such that I only change this age somewhere else. I'll show you how we do that. So first of all, it's very clear that we are using one of the string methods. So to string you method, you should always use like this, that let's say first string dot. So it's a string, so it has given us all the methods we can use. So I'll say format. Now the rules to use format is, format will require some arguments or some parameters. What are these? So basically, these methods won't run until they are specified something inside this bracket. So what we have to do is we have to specify some things. We have to specify what this time? We have to specify the value of age this time. Okay. So what we'll do, we'll simply say age equals to 70. That's it. Once I write this, once I write this, and let's say I print it, I'll say, yeah, print first string, and I run this one. Okay, there is something wrong here. Dot format first string. Oh, basically I have to store it, I guess, in the first string only. First string equals to first string dot format, and you run this one. So you get I'm 70 years old. So basically, this doesn't recognize it. It said, you have to store this value somewhere so you can have a variable name. So you can see this is so dynamic now. I'm not changing this line at all. I'm just changing this value, 76, or any value I keep on changing, and my code is running totally fine. You can see the beauty of this. So that's very important. This is one of the most important string methods. Mark it the most important, and you will find the answers why it's more effective. So now the question comes: can we have multiple dashes or multiple? This is called placeholder for the knowledge. This double curves, these curly braces are something called as uh, placeholders. Okay, these are placeholders. So you can we have double placeholders? So I'll say I'm dash years old and I study dash. I study dash. So I'll say subject. So let's say what subject I study. I can maybe write as Python like this way. I'm 76 years old and I study Python. So you can just keep on changing these values and it will automatically affect this place. So that's the best idea of using format. So if anyone has doubt, just do on YouTube. I'll just read it. Until then, I'll just move forward. So now we have to do certain things now differently. So this is the first idea of doing this. Now, is it more easier? Yes, it can be made more easier. How? So let's say I have a variable called as second string. Inside second string, I write the same thing. But this time I'll have do it with a catch. I'll not say age or anything. I'll just leave these spaces blank. Okay, so when I leave this blank, how will it identify which value belongs to what? So it goes with a respective concept. That means if you're writing this value, let's say now I write this again, like this way. I have to change the value to second string. So now when I'm changing this value, what I'll do is simply say, I'll just remove these variable names. What I have to do is I have to just keep these values. So what will it automatically identify which values we are talking about? So we'll just simply say print second string and you run this. So you see, it's more easier now. We don't have to specify the variables at all. And although I'm writing it differently, like here, it's a good idea, but we can also write like this. That means I can just copy this total code here and I can just paste it here. So now I can remove this thing. So what I did, I just frankly, I just had a string. After a string, I said dot format, and that's what I'm doing. I run this. Okay. Oh, I have to just remove the quotes here. Sorry. You have to just keep the quotes till the string part. That's it. Now you run this. So you get the answer. So you can see when we started off, we started with a very big agenda, but now you can see you can write this same code in a single line. So that's the method that we're talking about. That the method name is format, and it's very much used in Python and any other language. Why it's used also? So when I am assuming all of you are new to this coding journey, so the idea is to go towards something called as dynamic. So we have to make everything very, very dynamic. That means there is very much lesser involvement of a user inside your code. Everything goes and runs automatically, and that's the idea of what we're talking about dynamic. So if you see this whole agenda here, we have no involvement in changing or manipulating the string. Our agenda is simply changing the method, which is outside the string. That makes the work very systematic and easier. So just make sure whenever you are approaching any problem anywhere, try to find a dynamic method and dynamic thing that will actually affect your coding, affect your way how you think and code. So that's important. Yeah. So this is one of the methods we discussed format. Let's see what are the methods we can discuss. And then we'll move towards list. I won't waste much time on strings. I will just move forward, and the question parts, that the coding question parts, we'll do for list and strings together, because keeping for a string, because we need some knowledge of for loops. If once we have those knowledges, we will start with actually doing the coding overall, building the logics up. So just make sure you, right now I'm just doing the basics part. So just keep on understanding that. That's important. Any doubt till here, just ask in chat. I'll just try to answer that. Yeah. Okay. So let's move forward. So what method are we left with? So I think one method that is we are left with is a spacing, something like that. Let's have a variable a, and in this area a, I'm writing various spaces and saying hello. And when I, let's say, print a, and I run this, you see hello with lots and lots of spaces, right? And it's very easier to see. Yeah, there are spaces. So how to remove these spaces? That's for the other method deals with. And one more thing is, there are shortcuts for it. So you can just, if you want to run the code from here only, just press Control, press Enter together. It will run like this way. And similarly in Jupyter also the same concept applies. So whoever using Jupyter, whoever is using this Google Colab or any other software like this, you will eventually understand, and you can actually relate much more, because this cell concept is very interesting and very important. This makes your code very neat and clean. When you code like in a single page, it becomes very hectic for a reader as well. So just make sure you use these things. So now let's use a method called lstrip. So what will it do? It will remove the spacing from the left side. Again, you have to store it in the same variable. So you can see the spaces have been removed. Similarly, if I have spaces on the right side, I don't have spaces on the left side. Uh, let's move from the left, and let's change it to R and run this. So you get moved from the right as well. There are no spaces now, although we can't see the right spaces, frankly, but there are no one. So, and what if you want to remove it from the both sides? You have to just simply press strip. That's it. That will remove from the both sides. So that's just small methods that we discussed till now. So if you're interested in learning more about the methods, you have to just type something on Google, that is string Python methods, and you will eventually see something out there. String Python methods. So when you Google this up, you will eventually find these methods. You can maybe just go up there and try some of these, very less. But although I have discussed the major one, that will eventually help us use. The rest we can use it for what we say. The list, when the list also there are methods in dictionary, in tuples, everywhere there are methods. So the idea is not to learn these methods by heart. You have Google with you. You can research it out everything. The idea is that you just keep on understanding how do you code, how do you use methods, because everything you have is referring, and you can refer anytime, anywhere. But make sure that when you are coding it out, when you are learning things, be researchive. Google every single thing, and that's how everyone codes. So that's when you research more, you will understand the concepts more. So just make sure you do that. Okay, so now let's move to the next topic, and that topic is list. Meanwhile, any questions in strings, any questions till now, whatever we have covered, just do drop a message in chat, and I'll just answer that. If you have not in do and don't have any questions, I can move towards the list. That is the next data type that we can use. I'll just wait for like 10 seconds, and then I'll move. Okay, so let's begin. Let's just start off. Okay, so what are lists exactly? Why do we need them? That's the whole question. Because till now we were using string, we were using variables, but why are the lists so much important that Wherever we go in anything like C++, Java, there are arrays there. Arrays are also there in Python, but we use list a lot here. So why do we need these at the first place? That's also one of the questions that everyone tries to question. So why do we need is we need to store multiple things together. We need it. If I have a variable a, can I store multiple things? And then the answer is automatically. Let's say I store someone name. Let's say James. Next variable I just put on. I store another name. So at one point, it will become very difficult to keep on storing names and variables and accessing them. Now, if I ask you, can you just showcase me these two names? You will have to print A, then you have to print B, and the stuff like that. That's very, very hectic. That's very, very not a dynamic coder or not a Python coder will do that. So what will we do? We will just basically use a data type which can store multiple things together inside this, and whenever I access that with a name, it will automatically print or give me everything about that structure. So what we'll do here is we'll have a variable a like this way, and inside this I can not a variable, I'm sorry, we can use a bracket like this. It's a rectangular bracket, and I can use like uh, any other name we can have. Okay, we can have, okay, okay, no message in the chat. Okay, so this is how we can declare it, and we can just close rectangular brackets. So everybody will ask, what are we doing here in the first place? So if you see, I have stored three strings. I'm not considering them name. I'm just understanding the data types. So I am using three strings here to store inside a rectangular bracket. And when I'm storing it inside a rectangular bracket, why I'm storing it? So that I have it stored together rather than having three variables doing the same job. I really want it to be like three. I want it to be accessible at point A only. So all the names of a class are stored inside a single thing, not like multiple places. Because if we are storing 100 names, just imagine 100 names in different places like this, and when somebody will ask you, where is that name stored, can you send me details of that guy or someone? So then it becomes very difficult for that person to access it, like, where is it here, is it here, is it here, where is it? So that's how we are finding it difficult. But what if I tell you, we again, the housing concept, I'm just having a building. Inside this building, I'm having various apartments. So now it's very easier for me. I just need to know the floor name. I know the apartment name. I say, man, let's say this building name is A, right? And now I have to just ask that guy which floor is he staying. If I know the floor number or floor name, I can automatically find that person and I can get the values of that person. So just try to understand everything in block concept. When you're understanding Python, everything is like blocks. There's blocks of things which are storing something out there, and you will eventually learn how you can code out things from it. So the idea is that whichever thing we are storing, so you can see it's just like a pile up, and I can have in many values, 100,000 millions, whichever value you like, you can have it here. And the best part is it's very accessible. We know the building name, we know the variable name, we just need to know the floor name. Okay. So, and when we're talking about the floor name, again, it's very interesting to understand that last session in strings, we understood some concept called as indexing. So I'm just refreshing it again. So let's say, uh, okay, okay, sorry for the handwriting. It's indexing, indexing. So basically, let's say I have a name. Okay, I have something strand string, Jack. Okay, 4 characters, and I basically want to just print C. So now you guys know how to do that. You have to just find out and count which place it is. So it's like 0, 1, 2, so it's like 2. So 2 is the index part of it. Which variable does it belong, which building does it belong? It belongs to the building A. So you just simply have this rectangular bracket A and you will get the answer of this person. Similarly, in the list also the same concept applies. As I told you before, if you stretch some time more in strings, list won't be a problem for you because list is actually being widely used and will be used, because no one uses, strings are used, very small tasks, but major tasks are only performed with the help of a list in Python. List is the topmost priority to learn. Frankly, list dictionaries, these are very, very important. So just make sure you stretch some time there. So this is how the indexing works. So now I'll just come to the question that we have again. If somebody asks me, can you print John? So how will you do that? You will simply go here. You will say, hey, John has an indexing of, let's say, 1. And which building or which variable does he belong? He belongs to A. Just do like this, and you run this. You get John, right? So that's how we get, that's how the indexing part works. Although we didn't need slicing here, but we could use slicing. So if somebody comes up to you and tells, hey, can you print all the names after John? That means there are only 2 this time, but let's say we have a big data type, right? So can you print all the data types, or all, sorry, all the strings or all the elements inside this list after John? So what you simply do, you will just simply have it like this, and you run this. So basically this will print anything. So if you write here, let's change, if we have add more name to it, right? Uh, okay, you have more names here. You just do it, and you can see all the names will keep on running. So what does this mean? If you don't specify the limit after, it will keep on running till the end. So that's the advantage of using this. Now what are the more advantages? Let's just dive deep into understanding lists. So this session is very important as concerned to the list part, the basic one. I'm trying to cover major part in this. So what if I want to store the details of these guys also? I want to store the age of them as well. Let's say the age is 23 for this. John has an age of, let's say, 45 here. Ross has an age of 56 here. Pam is like, 12 years of old, 12 years old. That's it. And what I can do here, I can just put them inside another list. So list inside a list. Okay, so now we have list inside a list. We have various things that are working, right? So now if somebody wants to know the details of John, right, how will you do that? Anyone can write in chat as well if they are, if they're listening to it. You can write, like, if I want to print the details, I'm not talking about the name now, I'm talking about the details. If anyone wants to print the details of John, how will they do that? So first you have to find the index, right? You have to find the index. Where is the details located? Don't just feel that there are so many things now. No, just treat it like a single element. So this is a single element, one, two, like this way. So where is John located? 0 is this. Indexing, we're talking about the indexing. 0 is this, and 1 is this. So if I simply write like this, A1. So you get John 45. So you can see this is so much better. Like if you use variables or lists, that's why I prefer, everybody prefers list. So this is also known as a 2D list, two-dimensional list, because we are actually having two list, one list inside another list. So that's why it's called like that. Now comes another task of understanding indexing. What if you want to just print the age of John? How will you do that? What approach will you apply? Now we are coming into the real coding games. So what approach will you apply if you want to just print the age of John? Okay, anyone in the chat? Okay, no problem. You can ask questions in chat if you're listening to it, that will be better. But yeah, we can just move on. So if we say we want to just print the age of here, John, so what we'll do, we'll just simply go to this place first. That means I really want to go inside this list first. And if you see my answer, I'm already inside this list. How? By using A1. Now, when you reach this list, now assume you have this list only. This is your list. Where is age located? What is the index of age here? So the index of age is 1. How? Give me a second. How? This is 0. First element is always 0. Last one is 1. So you just simply say A11. That's it. So you can get 45. Understanding my point? So that's the idea of using indexing. So if you have to learn indexing very much, although at some point, because you should know how to locate things, because when we're storing some things, we also need to make sure that we can locate those things. So that's why it's important. So yeah, that's how you do this. Let's just go one step higher in this. Let's say I want to just print the name of John. So yeah, again changing it to 0, and we can go to John. So this is John. We have the name. Somebody comes to you and tell, can you just print this O now? I'm going more deep inside the same indexing. You have to just find, now you're inside this place, you're inside the string that is John. Now you need to go and find what is the location of O. So the location of O is 1. Again, why? J is 0, O is 1. It's indexing rule. So we just simply say 1 here. We run this one. We get O. So this is how these things work. This is how we actually just work on indexing. That's why I really want you guys to go ahead and just try different things. Try storing multiple things inside this part. This will be very, very helpful for you. Maybe just store some names, or you can store things also very differently. Let's say you are having this thing here, James 23. Let's say you want to store age and that guy's marks, or let's say the place he lives. Let's say he lives in Delhi. So you want to store his age and city together. What will you do? You will simply have another list like this. Now comes a real challenge. If somebody wants you to print the age and the city, print the, let's say, go very deep. Let's say we have to print the age of this guy. What will be the answer? Will this be like this? So first of all, we need to go inside this place, right? We need to go inside this details of James first. So I will do this. You will simply say, what is the index of this place? The index of this place is 0. Run this one. You get like this thing. Now you need now you need to go inside this place. What is this place? It's 1. How it's 1? This name is 0. This is 1, right? You go like this way. Now you are inside this list, 23 and Delhi. Now you need to just extract the age. How will you do that? We will simply say 0. Why? In this list, age is at the 0th element. Simply say 0. And you can see the age. So I think now you won't face any difficulties when it's come to indexing, and slicing is very easy, pretty much easy than this part. Slicing is slicing out elements. Okay, I'll do this again. Give me a second. And then we just move ahead to the list methods. So that will be up for the indexing part. There will be no more indexing discussions. That's the whole concept about indexing, frankly. So if you have any doubts, just do drop a comment after the session as well. I'll just try to read that, because it's very important for me to know, like, where are we facing issues. Just make sure I do that. And so simply, if we just have another cell, yes, control MD, right? Okay, it's not working. Yeah. So when we have this, okay. So when we have this now new cell, and the idea is, again, I'll just tell you how slicing works. So basically, slicing is slicing multiple things together. So if somebody tells you, you have to slice out the details of John and Ross together, what will you do? You have to just know the elements. Uh, you just need to know the where are the elements part. Like, let's say, so John is 1. If you see the indexing of John is 1, so I need 1, but I need till Ross, and Ross is 2. When I do this, what will I get? You will not get Ross, because the outer limit has to be 1 higher. So now you'll get it. So you can see you have John limit, you have Ross. This is slicing. That means slicing out things from a set of list or a string or anything like that. So this is called as slicing. So we discussed two things about list today. First is first is indexing, also known as addressing. Second is slicing. which is basically used to slice out things or basically used to extract multiple things together from a list or a string. So that's it. Yeah. So uh, that's about it. That's about this simple list logics. Now let's come to list methods. Let's just try to and one more thing. I don't know I mentioned it or not. Basically, in list you can have multiple data types as well. What does I mean by that? You can see we have integer here also. We have string here also. So you can have multiple things together. That's how a list works. That's how a list is amazing because you just can you just need to make sure that you are using it correctly. That's all. How to declare empty list also, you can just declare it by using this way. So now there is an empty list A. Okay, that's all. Okay, so let's just understand the string methods now. So as soon as you press dot, you can see all the string methods. They are very less, frankly, as compared to strings. And so basically, there's a sort. How do you want to sort this out? Where do you want to insert it? Count. You can copy a list. You can clear it. You can do lots and lots of things with this thing. The major one I really want you guys to learn is append. It's very, very important. So basically, when you want to insert something inside a list, you should always use append. There are various methods, but always try to use append is very amazing. Append is very much used because when you do logical codings, when you're applying multiple for loops and you need to feed some data there, that's when you use this thing. So make sure you use append. So how does append work? Let's just try to give you an example here. So let's just say we have a list of different alphabets, A, B, C. Now this is the list that is automatically running. Let's the name of the list is new list. It's automatically running. So new list is automatically running there. Now our idea is that this list is running. So the idea is that we can have one more value, let's say D here. Again, if you guys are thinking you can just go here and just type D, that's not the way it works. It has to be dynamic. It has to be uh, very much, you can't keep on typing things. That's where not the coder thing. You have to do some things that will be effective for a large number of things. So let's say right now you want to insert D. You go here and you write type D. It's fine. But what if I give you 100 alphabets? Just go and type them or words or something. So then you say, no, we can't do that. That's how you have to write your codes so that it can be effective for these 100 value as well, 1,000 value as well. It should not crash. The code should not crash. That's the whole idea. So what we are using here is append. So what does append basically do? When you write this method that is a.append and you write something inside this method, right? It will automatically go and insert the value at the end. Okay. So at the end, okay. So let us see an example. So let's say I wanna append. I have so many values here. I wanna let's say append one more guy's name. Okay. I wanna insert right. Any office fans here, so they can relate. I'm using these things here. So if you write a append white, so it has code has run. So let's just say A, and I run this thing. So you can see you get the details of James, and you can also get Dwight. Why did we get two times? Because we automatically run it twice. If you remember, the first time I did was only append and I printed out. So that's a mistake. I should not have done that. So how to delete that? Again, you can use something called as give me a second. A dot, and there is one more method called as I think pop, yeah. So pop will delete the last element and will return the value to you. So you can see it had deleted Dwight and it automatically told you that I have deleted this. So now when you run this, you can see only one Dwight is there. Previously there was two Dwights because we accidentally pressed this code twice. That's not the things how to be done. So only one time you have to do and it automatically append to it. Append, always remember append will insert at the last. Okay, and pop will delete from the last. Okay, these two concepts are very, very important. Once we are doing the logical questions, these things will keep on repeating, and where these are the places where you will lag. So make sure you do use these. Let's discover one or two more list methods. So I hope you're using something called as collab or Jupyter because they will help you to like if I write a dot here, It will automatically tell me all the things I can do with this. Okay, and in Jupyter, if you're not getting this list, just press tab. Okay, okay, a dot and just press tab. It will automatically show you the list. Okay, so whatever you're using, Jupyter or Google Colab or any other like PyCharm or anything is totally fine. They're also amazing. You have to just make sure that you find and you write your codes. Uh, that's all that matters. Okay. Now let's discuss the list methods, and then we'll eventually the next sessions we'll do if else for loop, and then we'll do with questions. So these are the basic things that I'm going to teach you right now. So make sure you just try to understand these. Maybe just go out and Google and some research like this, like you can just type now list Python methods. So this will show you the whole list of Python methods with examples, so you can understand how to use them, where to use them, and things like that. So one more we can use is count. So if somebody comes to you and just tells can you count the number of items in my list? So I can just say, if I just again dot, and it will automatically give me the whole list. I'll use this count, and I run this. Automatically, I should store it somewhere, I guess, or it will return something to me. So this is counting exactly one argument. Definitely, it will require uh, one argument from us, that where you want to count it out. So we can say a for now. Okay, it's saying 0. Uh, where is it? Okay, this count will deliver something to you. I think, yeah, it won't deliver you the exact count of it. It will actually deliver if they are recurring elements. Let's say I press this one more time. So basically, I have two divides now. So I really want to search. Let's say I want to search how many divides are there. So I simply go here and just press divide, and I run this one. So basically, this will deliver two to me. So if these questions comes to you, it's a good method. Let's discuss one or two more. Yeah, let's discuss sort. Sorting is important. So let's say you just want to sort things. So how will you do that? You have to just press. Uh, let's have another tab. I'll simply say a dot sort, because they're less. So I think there might be some issues. Yeah. Okay. This is not supported between instances of string and list module. Oh yeah, the problem is that if you see, as we're telling you, right, we have already have declared some list, right? Let's have a different sort of a list where we just have names here. So let's say this is B, and this I'm just typing. Okay, now just simply say B dot sort. Let's see what we get. So it has returned. Let's just print B. So yeah, divides on time. So that's it works. So if you guys are confused why the first one didn't run, because the problem is that I have declared list there, right? So how can you sort a list in a list? Then you have to use the for loop for doing this. But this sort will only look from the surface. So it's just looking this thing as one. So it's confused, how will I judge this? And how will I judge this? So basically we are just expecting it to be like a text or something. It's very effective for that part. So that's about this thing. Let's discuss one or two more. And so this will today will be the end of the list methods as well. So we'll discuss string. We have discussed list. Next, I'll pick up something called as if else or maybe for loops, and we'll go ahead with those, and then we'll come to the actual coding part. Okay. So let's discuss one more, and let's discuss the index method. Although it's not widely used, but maybe you can uh, get some things from this part. Yeah. So again, problem that people we always have is, let's say right now there are only three values. I can count the address of it. Address of it is 0, the address of it is 1, the address of it is 2. So we can count it out very easily. How will someone count if we have uh, thousand datas in this single list, and somebody, how will they count it out? How will they count that, this is the address of this part? So right now I know Pam is 0, John is 1, Dwight is 2. I know this very frankly. How will I count if there are 1,000 values at what is the specified index, right? So I can use again the same thing we have used in strings, if you remember. So you have to just write here b or index, and maybe store it inside a different variable. Let's say the variable name is b index, like this. Okay, so this is a camel case. You start with small and then you in between you have this one. This is a camel case. It's widely used. Yeah. So b index will deliver the things to us, and we have to specify a value here also. So I'll just specify, let's say John here. We'll find the index of John. So it says 1 is the index of John. So that's how we approach things in with this string method. Okay. So that's about this part. Last method, let's just take one more. Yeah, reverse is a good one. So there is one more, that is a reverse. We can just understand the reverse, how we can do that. So basically, again, just to manipulate the order, we can use reverse where we used. So if I have this list here, and just I have B already declared, so I'll just simply say B dot and reverse. So this will actually return. Let us print P also. Okay, one more time. Yeah, so you can see we just reverse the whole thing. If you press one more time, it will come to the direct order again, come to the reverse part. That's it. That's about the string method. That's about the list methods. That's about the indexing. That's about the addressing. That's about the slicing. So various topics we have covered today, and this is important. Use format a lot. So make sure you understand those. So how will our we'll proceed further is, let me just explain you, the roadmap, a little bit about the roadmap, if you guys are interested in that. I'm going to explain you how what is the advantage of you coming and seeing these sessions, where we'll be in, like, 5 6 sessions after. So basically my way of teaching is that I first of all introduce you to every topic and spend some time on that. If you remember the last session, we started from very zero. This is a very from scratch, we are doing everything. So in the previous sessions, when we started, right, when we started in the previous sessions, let me have a notepad so it can be a data type. Okay, so in the previous sessions, when we started, so we started from very basic or scratch. And the idea while starting from very scratch is that we keep on learning things and understanding things in very depth. Okay, so initially we started with the data types, variables, that are topics that are very basic, but very important. So data types we discussed. We discussed about various how we exactly is variables, how can you use those variables a lot. Then we came one of the one when we came, I think, to indexings, right? We came to indexing, why indexing is important, why slicing is important, right? Then we discussed about the string methods. I'm just writing it together: methods, string, and list. So I'm just assuming we have done this way or a lot more. So my idea is that I really don't want to rush to the questions in the first beginning. We will still be covering one or two topics more, and then we will dedicate some sessions, like one or two sessions or three sessions, to just doing questions. And the questions will be again from basics till the advanced, from that level only. So right now we have covered only strings and lists, and I really want you guys to just go through all the things we have done and just go and maybe google things out, research something out, and then we, let's say, understand for loops, and then we know if else. So then I'll come to the questions and then we can proceed with that. So I am basically building various blocks together. Okay. Right now we are just understanding, let's say, three blocks we have studied. Let's assume like that. My idea is that in some sessions, one or two sessions, we can combine these two together, and then we'll have a big box, of knowledge that can be very effective. So this is very important, right? So The idea is not just to give you out, like there are various things on internet, just you can go out there and maybe research it out, but that's not at all effective, right? I will deliver things in a various blocks, and then I'll help you to combine things. I'll help you to research. So just try to I think 1 or 2 sessions more you'll require just to be very comfortable of the way I teach, and don't just stress out too much. We will cover everything. We will, as promised. So various sessions will keep on happening, and more learnings and more things will coming your way. So till then, yeah, all the best, and let me just stop my screen share, and then we can, yeah, that's it for today. We'll meet you in the next session. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great session. And any updates regarding to the next class and everything will be given on the Telegram. You can subscribe to the channel Open Innovation Club. Thank you for joining the channel. Thank you.